Who's that Pokemon?
Welcome back to the Hachette Partworks Dalek Collection build, and this is going to be a slightly odd episode, and possibly quite short. If you watched last week, at the end of the episode we did a little preview of what's to come next, and we saw that this episode, this issue, is something very special. So without too much ado, I think we should get right into it, because this is going to be something. Now, full disclosure, until now, whenever I've opened the boxes on the videos, it's been a genuine first opening of the boxes, seeing all the pieces for the first time. However, when I got this in the post, I did have to open this box straight away. So I have already seen this, but you haven't, and that's the main thing. So I'm gonna move the head, probably shouldn't grab it by the light bulbs, but here we are. And I'm gonna keep this here, because we might be needing this. And so we have issue 19, and a very special box with someone very special inside. Let's keep that aside for now, and let's have a look at the magazine until then, shall we? Issue 19, and even the magazine is quite short today because there's a wedge of cardboard in it to fill it up. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, that's doing the trick. That is doing the trick. Maybe in lieu of more magazine content, there'll be a piece of art. Ooh, oh. You win some, you lose some. So there is art, but it's this stupid sphere ball head design. Maybe I'm just unfairly comparing it to the gold standard, or the bronze standard, if you will. Anyway, let's have a little skim of what we got. Prisoner. All right, mate. What are you doing here? Prisoner of the Daleks. The Doctor must prevent the Daleks from gaining access to the Archeon threshold, which would allow them to win the war against humanity. So this is a book. This is a BBC Books, published April 2009. I do like in this magazine how they're covering a whole different range of media. It's not just about the TV show, it's about the books, the audio dramas, it's all going on. I don't think I've actually read this one. Years ago for my birthday, my family got me a box of like 40 to 50 Doctor Who novels, and I read a good chunk of them. They are so nostalgic though. I remember getting a couple of the Chris Eccleston ones after he had regenerated, so it was kind of filling a void that he'd left behind. Hello again. God, you don't really realise how young David Tennant was when he first became the Doctor. When you watch Chris Eccleston's regeneration scene and David Tennant appears, you're like, who is that little boy? I mean, that's the weird thing about getting older, is that like, he must have been 32, I guess, put the right age here, when he became the Doctor. And I'm 30 now, like I'm almost as old as my childhood hero was. That's weird. There's a Dalek design you don't see a lot, the black and the gold together. I remember they released a remote control pair of Daleks that was like a game. They had a little sensor on them and you had to like shoot the other one, and if you shot it, it would deactivate for a little bit and then it would reactivate. And one was the normal bronze, I think, and one was black and gold. And I remember being like, I wonder if that's gonna come into the show, and it never did. Did I make that up? That was a thing, wasn't it? What else we got? The Time Lord Victorious. This was a cool idea, and a cool idea I did not indulge in much. But if I remember rightly, it was like a multimedia storyline they were telling about the Time Lord Victorious over books and comics and audio dramas. I think there's a few examples of them here. We had The Night, the Fool and the Dead, which was a novel. The audio here, novel again, short story. And you know, call me Tom Felton, but I'm not massively attuned to what was going on here. But I thought it was such a cool idea. Not cool enough to watch or read anything that was in it, but you know, credit for trying. Oh, here we are onto the building instructions for this week. Well, if you didn't know already, this probably gave it away. What we're doing this week is we are getting the Dalek Mutant. So, here he is, currently sleeping. And again, I have looked in this box already. I've seen what lies ahead. It's pretty cool, I won't lie. I don't know why they package it like this. Just a little squishy bit of the Daleks poking out. Are you ready to meet our Dalek Mutant, everyone? Da 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 da! Our pilot has arrived. The little squishy Dalek Mutant. Now, I will say, when I was looking at this in the lead up to getting the magazine and starting to build it, I didn't think this would be squishy. I thought it was going to be hard plastic, but it is a little rubbery, squishy Dalek. I don't really know what else to say. It's a little Dalek mutant, and I like him. I like the cut of his jib. Now, you can probably imagine where the instructions are going here. It's not going to take Not gonna take a genius to work this one out, but the Dalek is gonna sit in his little Dalek chair. So let's put him in his rightful home. Not gonna take a genius to work this one out. So it looks like the tentacle's going to overhang a little bit. And there we go. The Dalek is safe and home, ready to be concealed in further bronze paneling. And, well, that'll do us for this week. Bye. I'm just kidding. Let's have a closer look. I mean, you can't deny, that is pretty cool. I love the details of it. I love that it's squishy. I wish you could all feel it. I love the little ballsack brain thing going on. These things are interesting. I don't remember seeing these on like the Mutant in the show. I wonder if these are gonna sort of connect into something maybe. I don't know, but I mean, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Look at that lighting as well. Gorgeous. I guess while we're here and we're killing time, we'll do a little interview. So, Dalek, tell me, how do you feel about finally being out of the box and starting a new life in this little armchair?
That's a great question. I look forward to bigger and brighter things. And I look forward to exterminating you in your sleep, motherfucker!
Okay, well, I mean, I don't think there was any need for that language. We're trying to do a family show here, but, well, I mean, what did you think of the last series of Doctor Who?
Woke agenda! Woke agenda!
Yeah, no, I could have seen that coming, really. Okay, how do you feel about the absence of the Daleks in the show? It's been a while since we've seen them. What have you been up to in this time away?
I started taking acting through song classes with Cynthia Erivo.
Fair enough. Everyone needs a hobby, I suppose.
They are not going well.
I guess last question is, I asked the viewers to name you, to give you a name. I know Daleks don't normally do names, but we've settled on Simon, and I was just wondering how you felt about that.
I have been called worse. It will do.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to hear. And well, that's the completed work for this week. So let's have a quick look at what to expect next week. Hopefully something a bit more substantial. Get ready for the first neck wall section. 2 bucket pieces, 2 pipes, and the connecting screws. So it looks like now we've got this fella. We're going to be building the sort of containment unit for him. And that's very exciting. So that's gonna go, oh, it's all coming together. I feel like I have a little assistant now for these videos. My little guy in the chair. Simon, you come here as we put issue 19 into the ancient tome of Skaro.
That is just a ring binder, you fool!
No, I mean, I know it's not an actual ancient tome. It's just a funny name I've given the ring binder for a bit of comic effect. Is that a crime?
It's stupid.
How are you making the lights flash? You're not even in, whatever. Now, ordinarily, once the completed work was completed and the issue we'd been working on was sealed into the ancient tome, I'd obviously end the episode there. However, there is something new. Now, I did not know that these were coming. This was a surprise to me. It hadn't been mentioned in any of the previous magazine things about what to expect. I'd seen someone commenting about something like this online, but I didn't know I was getting them. But I'll tell you what it is. So the lovely people at Hachette Partworks have included 3 metal Dalek posters, and I won't lie, they are quite beautiful. First up, we have the Daleks. Now, you can't really see on the camera as such, but it's sort of 3D embossed. You can get a better look at it on the back there. So we've got the Daleks. That's obviously the first ever episode of the Daleks. We've got the Army of Ghosts with the Cult of Skaro. Again, 3D embossed. And it's metal. We've got metal. Can I display all of these at the same time? No. Okay, and then last but not least, I actually can't remember what the third one is. Let's discover together. It is Genesis of the Daleks. Again, 3D embossed, wobble board metal. I think these posters are so cool and I love the design of them. I just don't really have anywhere to put them. So, what I thought would be a cool idea would be to do a little competition. Sort of as a way to say thanks for all the watching of the videos so far. But obviously, I've got 3 posters here, so there'll be 3 potential competition winners. And I really am just making this up on the spot, but here is how to enter the competition. Firstly, you have to subscribe to the channel. Secondly, you have to comment down below a trivia question. So, as you may know, if you've been watching this series, the Dalek we are building has been faithfully named Simon by you, the viewing public. But my question to you, within the bugger series of Dalek videos that I've done on this channel, in which video of that series did a Dalek called Simon first appear? So, if you'd like to be in for the chance of winning one of these 3 lovely metal posters, subscribe to the channel, comment down below which video did Simon first appearing, and I will randomly pick three individual winners, each to get a poster. I mean, you don't really get to decide which one you get, it will just be at random. If you can put your preference, I suppose, which poster you'd like, and if by pure luck you all want a different one, then problem solved. And I will say, just at the moment, it's probably just going to be UK based, I'm afraid, if you're watching overseas. But anyway, again, if you want one of these posters, have a deep dive through the channel and find the answer. Where did Simon first appear? Right now, I have no idea. I have no idea which video it is. I think I know which one it is, but I don't know, so I'd be scuppered, but it's down to you. Well, thanks for watching issue 19 of the Hachette Partworks Dalek Collection build. A slightly unusual episode, but now we have our main squid at the helm of his little screen, and it's very exciting. I love how this is all coming together. I know we're only, just coming into issue 20 now. We're into the roaring 20s, but it feels like we're going at a bit of a pace now. I'm very much looking forward to building more of this piece so we can get a better idea of quite how big this thing is going to be. So I hope you join me for that. So I will see you next week. Well, look who it is, it's yourselves. Welcome to another end screen of another Dalek video. And we have our pilot finally. Simon is installed. He's sitting there, ready to kill. So we're going to build some more of that soon, but until then, let's read some comments, shall we? Last week I was talking about the idea of what it'd be like to take over Doctor Who and what stories I would do, and some of you talked about that in the comments as well. Jevon Woodrow says, a lot of my ideas somehow, some way, get done in the main show before I have a chance. My series arc was with a brand new Doctor who is tricked by the Master and killed, forcing them to regenerate episode 1. The Doctor escapes and discovers a devastated universe caused by the Master. Earth is a cyber factory, humanity are refugees, and the Doctor has to kill the Master to save everyone. There was more to it, but there was Masterful, The Flux, Timeless Children, etc, etc. It's been done, and I am sad. I feel your pain a little bit. There's been a couple times where I've had ideas where I'm like, oh, that'd be just a cool visual, and then it gets done in the show, you're like, damn! In fact, in this series just gone, as I've been planning my era of what I would do with Doctor Who, I had an episode set in an old cinema, and it involved the Doctor and the companion getting sucked into the screen and being part of the films, and then fucking Lux happened. Huxley says, alright, roll with me on this one. If RTD2 kicked down my door right now and said, William, I think you're marvellous, absolutely marvellous. Here's the keys to the Doctor Who. Okay, bye! Here's what I do with Who. One major problem people have with RTD2 at the moment is that he's clearly trying to fit a 13-episode series into an 8-episode one. Agreed. Square peg in the circle hole. Thus, I would actually take a leaf out of Chibnall's book and go for a series under an umbrella title on a self-contained story, a la Flux. Very good idea, I thought the same thing. Enter Doctor Who Hunted. Episode 1 would take place in the future and introduce our new companion. I'd want someone jaded and cynical, a result of living in a dystopian future. Not only to give them depth, not only to make them a good contrast to my new Doctor, but so we can slowly soften them over the season. Episode 1 just has to follow the Doctor toppling said dystopian society, except the big bad of the episode escapes, and with their vast wealth puts a hit on the Doctor. The rest of the season is a rotating cast of bounty hunters trying to chase the Doctor and new companion across time and space. I think that is a cool idea. Also, Doctor Who needs to bring back more wildcard returning villains, people no one in their right mind would bring back. As such, I'd somehow bring back the Bannermen from fan favourite episode and personal favourite story, Delta and the Bannermen. Never seen it, I'm afraid. But no, I think it's a really cool idea with the Doctor Who Hunted thing. I think that'd be a really cool mini-series. And similar to what you're saying about having a companion who's sort of jaded and more cynical, that's kind of the angle I want to go with as well. I was saying last week the first companion of my first series would be from 16 years after parting of the ways, and when they were a child, they watched their dad get taken into a game on the game station and watched it on TV as, bad shit happened. So normally when we meet a companion and they come on board the TARDIS, they're very much like, yeah, let's go out exploring. And while that is an element to this character, they are very much a reluctant companion. They maybe won't take to it quite as easily as some of the past companions have. And also, like you were saying, Huxley, to have a character contrast between the Doctor and the companion, I think will make for great conflict. The Doctor is obviously very pro-humanity and, tries to see the good in everyone, whereas this companion in my era has grown up in a childhood under the reign of the game station. And obviously, yes, after the invasion of the Daleks and everything came to light, sure, the Daleks were behind it all. But the people on the game station, they didn't know that. They were up there just doing their job and pressing the buttons and killing all these people. So the companion would be coming into the show in a very jaded, humanity is not a good thing position. And after travelling with the Doctor through all their adventures and meeting all these different people, the arc they would go on would end up with this companion fighting for humanity. Sorry, I'm rambling again. Cord says, I'd be bold and make a family of the TARDIS team. You know, mother, father, son, daughter. It'd be a lot to juggle, I realise, but Doctor Who's always been a family show, so it'd be nice to have an actual family for once. That's a really cool idea. I think that'd be really interesting to watch. I think it would add to a lot of the drama of the episodes, you know what I mean? If there's an actual family at stake, I think that has a lot of potential. Also, last week I was talking about a documentary idea I've been thinking about doing on my channel where I try and track down the Dalek Emperor miniature from Series 1. Tidmouth Milk 12 says, I definitely think it's worth an ask of Mike Tucker, RE the Emperor prop. I had a similar experience a couple years ago wondering about the puppets from the CBBC show Bear Behaving Badly, specifically the puppet of Crazy Keith the koala. So on a whim, I sent an email to one of the puppeteers from the show and was pleasantly surprised to get a reply saying that they did know where at least one of the Keiths was because they had them in their house. This is definitely the way to go about it. I think in my head, I'm thinking there's some, you know, secret high security locked vault somewhere with all these amazing Doctor Who props, but to be honest, they're probably just like kicking it in someone's house. If you email the right person, who knows what could happen? Sparks632 says, as soon as I saw the picture of those guys with the miniature of the Emperor Dalek, my first thought was, I wonder where that is now. So safe to say, I would love to see you do a documentary on the subject. Right? Wouldn't it be interesting? I think it'd be really cool. Yes, it's quite niche, I admit, but I think it'd be really interesting to try and find out what kind of happens with these things once they're done filming? Did someone just load the Dalek Emperor into the back of the car and take it home? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to find out. Where is the Emperor? Where doth he go? Okie doke, let's wrap it up there. Join me next week to see more Dalek bits get bolted together. And remember, if you want one of those metal posters, feel free to answer the trivia question in the comments below, and next week I'll reveal the grand prize winner ×3 of each poster. Hope to see you there. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you next week. Bye!